How's it going, guys? My name is Doe, and I hope you're doing good. And today I want to discuss the Umbral Escalation amplifiers, going into pretty good detail on the new ones, and just bringing up the old ones, which will be making a return in this escalation. So to get started, let's go ahead and look at the Umbral Escalation Lantern Attunement Device amp list. And I'll be discussing these amps with their greatest value. There's no point in discussing the low value because when you play it, you'll see how low it is and all that kind of stuff. But I will say that for some of these amps, the low value is very low. Like for go time, it's like 5% attack speed. So keep that in mind. But anywho, you'll start off with Squad Goals and Executioner. These are returning amps. Squad Goals being more damage if you just pick it up, and even more if your teammates also have it, which is kind of nice. Executioner is more damage for each behemoth below 50% health. Also kind of nice. Now, go time got to change. So your Lantern Hold grants plus 15% attack speed to all players for 20 seconds or until you take damage. I don't believe Go Time had this requirement before, but now it's just basically a conduit that requires your Lantern Hold that, it's conduit, but it's like a Predator conduit, kinda. Pronduit. Yeah, trademarked. Next up, we got Pact of Swiftness, which before was just like a random amp you could find in Escalation, but now it's on the actual amp upgrade list. So for the next encounter, you take 25% more damage. Afterwards, you gain 20% attack speed and 15% move speed. It's a pretty good amp. If you can survive the round, you take it. We have Exposed Weakness. Add 200 flat wound damage to each weapon attack. If this scaled with your actual cells and it wasn't flat, it'd be pretty good. It'd be pretty interesting. But since it doesn't, it's not that great. I wouldn't suggest taking it. You can for fun, always. You can take whatever amp you want, but I wouldn't suggest doing it. That's just my 2 cents. Healing Stream. The freaking Mercy mains and Dauntless love this one. All jokes aside. Dodging through an attack causes you to heal up to 250 health to your lowest health ally. This is a neat... I don't know if they changed the sound of it because I just never take it. And plus, I was playing by myself for the most part, so I could never really test it. But it's probably going to be the same thing it was from... what was it? Oh my gosh. Blaze Escalation. I was trying to say Scorch Escalation. That's not a thing. I was getting real confused. The next amp is one of the, I guess, keystones for this escalation, like one of the big ones. Surgical Precision. Grants a 2% damage buff for the remainder of the run when a wounded part is broken. Gain an additional 2% each break for every player that has Surgical Precision. So this is going to be like Throw the Hunt in the sense of you want to have it as quickly as you possibly can, but it's also going to be like Squad Goals in the sense that you want to have your teammates have it as well. And to make use of it, you have to get wounds and then break these wounds. So Warpike is going to be really freaking good. And you might be thinking like, oh, I can just use other weapons and run Acidic. You can, it will be way less effective because Acidic cuts your part damage in half. You'll be having a lot harder time breaking parts. Whereas the Warpike, you don't need Acidic, you don't need Barbed, all you need is a Warpike. That's it. All you need is a Warpike and some Insight Tonics and maybe Catalyst. Boom. You get mad wounds. So this is a fun amp, and I really want to see what it's like to get every single person in a group to have it and get the maximum stacks possible and just like use concussive payload on Thrax or something. Like that'd be really fun. That'd be an interesting thing.
Good.
Alright, back up.
Okay, back up.
Alright, charge.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, let's go!
Dude, that was dope.
That was sick.
Anywho, next we have Overclock. Until the next behemoth is defeated, you gain 25% attack speed. The icon for this is different. I think I have like the actual icon. This is normally the icon for this is Paragon's Blessing, but this is actually Overclock. So don't get confused like I am. Throw the Hunt, pretty standard. 10% more damage for each behemoth you defeat. Stacks up to like 50% on the last behemoth if you get round 1. Pretty good. And then we have a new amp, which this is one of the really helpful sort of defensive amps you can take. So Alchemist Revival. This is an amp unlock. Refills your flask to 5 charges, and your revive stems are also refilled to 3. So the max you can have. This is great if you're getting bodied, which Escalation is difficult if you're playing solo and you don't have any power boosts, which are these things. It's very difficult. Also, while we're here, you get 5 bonus dual arc stone and patrol chests. I forgot to mention that, but that's pretty nice. It's pretty clean right there. So yeah, this is a pretty good amp to have. We have upgrade. Oh, we have multi-amp upgrade. This upgrades your elemental forms. It says multi-amp upgrade, but right now there's only one elemental form. But what the amp upgrade does is increase duration of elemental forms to 18 seconds. And the elemental form we have right now is Umbral. On Lantern Hold, enter Umbral form for 18 seconds, granting 15% increased damage dealt. This is like Conduit, but damage. Which I love things being attached to your Lantern Hold the cast. It's pretty fun. I enjoy that. I wish that we had more things that made your Lantern more useful. So I could be like a mage, have some mage builds going on. So that's what I want. But moving on. Defensive revive, we had this before. It's really not that great, but while reviving an ally, you're unstackable and take 50% less damage. It's like the Gibraltar of Dauntless. It's a nice idea. I just don't think it's that great. It'd be cool if you got like a bubble, like an actual Gibraltar. Like give me a Reza bubble while I'm reviving my teammate. That'd be hilarious. So you can use it as always, but I don't suggest it. Full throttle. Until the next behemoth is defeated, you gain 30% critical strike chance. That's pretty good. But crit chance in this escalation isn't nuts, although having 30% crit chance is pretty good. So if you get like the last round before going to fight Thrax, if it can outweigh a lot of other options for Sherman. So definitely a good option if it's like their last round, or if it's like the round that you might think you go down on. It's a pretty good amp to have. And then we have one of the fun amps, like really fun amps. Elemental Summoner. Dealing 2,000 wound damage summons a random stationary elemental to assist you for 30 seconds. Attacks deal additional wound damage per hit. Okay, so I know what 2 of the orbs do for sure. I know what all the orbs do, I just don't know the exact value of one of them, which is the healing one. Anywho, you have 3 orbs. You have Red, which is a damage orb. Every couple of seconds it deals 1,000 damage. Which isn't crazy, but you can build, if you get lucky and build a lot of these, it's pretty nuts, which the orbs are generated randomly, so that's important to understand. You have a green orb, which is a healing aura, and that heals you for a certain amount. I'll leave it on the screen, I forgot the actual number, but it's pretty fun, it's pretty interesting. It makes it so you don't have to run Iceborne if you don't want to, if you're trying to risk it for the biscuit, get some more damage. You can hope to get Elemental Summoner, which is an epic amp unlock, or an epic amp in escalation, so it's rarer, but it's a nice little thing right there. And the last orb is lightning, or it's like a yellowish blue orb. This gives you crit chance, 15% crit chance to be exact. You can have multiple orbs out of all kinds of varieties, so they stack, which is the cool part. So if you get like a lot of damage orbs, it's pretty awesome. A lot of crit orbs, you get really high crit chance. That's pretty fun. So it's cool because it only takes 2,000 wound damage, which that's important to note because behemoths have a certain point where you can't wound anymore. When you create all the wounds on the behemoth, there's no more wound damage to have, so you have to wait until the next behemoth to get more. So it's cool to just see how fast you can get the orbs to spawn. It's pretty fun. I really like using this amp, and I want to make a build for this amp or just make a Warpike video because this amp is hilarious. I love it. It's pretty much what Eidolon should have been in escalations for Shock and Blaze, IMO. But anywho, next up we have Void Blast. When a short distance from a behemoth, occasionally spawn a ball of unstable umbral energy that can be launched in a cone of projectiles that do 300 damage each. This is pretty much Hotshot, but better. And it's better because there's more than one projectile, and it spawns closer to the behemoths, which is where you want to be to actually cause them to do their unstable attacks to actually interrupt them. So that makes it a lot better. And it has like this crazy just arc it does, or not arc, but it's like a scatter shot basically from Overwatch, except you don't aim at the ground, you just have like an orb that does it. And that can interrupt multiple behemoths at the same time. I haven't done that yet, I don't think, but it'd be cool when it does happen. Like it'd be really just PogChamp all around. So I like this amp a lot. And then we have Void Mantle. I'm gonna go ahead and read this. Sprinting costs no stamina and builds Umbral Charge. At max stacks, your next attack within 3 seconds deals 1,000 bonus damage. It's a nice idea, but I really do not like Void Mantle, Shock, Lightning Mantle, whatever it is. It's also in Shock Escalation. I don't like this thing. I just don't like it. I would much prefer another fun amp like Summoner or the next amp, which is Shadow Dodge, stuff like that. Like, Void Mantle is just scuffed. Anywho, Shadow Dodge is awesome. It makes repeaters fun, and Shadow Dodge is where dealing damage accumulates charges of Shadow Dodge up to 5, and dodging through an attack expends a charge, causing an Umbral explosion that can interrupt behemoths. This is really good on repeaters. It's again a epic amp, so it has a lower drop rate, at least I'd assume, right? Common, rare, epic, that's how it works. But when you get it, it's fun, because it means that you can play repeaters and not bring conch grenades. You don't have to bring freaking Saboteur's Grip, which is not good right now. And you can just dodge and interrupt behemoths. And on the repeaters, it feels great. That feels so much fun. It makes this escalation more fun. It really does. This is like probably the most enjoyable escalation for repeaters I've ever played, at least for regular repeaters. So it's a lot of fun. I like this amp a lot. It's fun on all weapons, and it's a good time. Like, definitely try it out. Like, what's cool in this escalation is you have these amps that don't have to be amazing. They don't have to be this crazy, just, oh, it lets me one-shot behemoths. It doesn't have to be that. They're just here to make the experience more enjoyable and just different. And it's doing that, man. It's making it more fun. That's what I want, is variety. And isn't variety in fun alternatives that are also somewhat viable. Not viable in the sense of like, does it do the most damage possible? I don't need that. I just need something I need something that's like useful and also enjoyable. It doesn't have to be crazy all the time. So this escalation really hit the ball out of the park on that one, man. Giving us more fun alternatives. The next amp is terrible. This is Bonds of Corruption. I hate this thing. For each Enraged Behemoth, you gain 30% bonus part damage, and for each Aether Charge Behemoth, you gain 50% bonus Lantern Charge from attacks. If it was like reverse, I might be for it, because it would mean I could like actually use a freaking mage build in escalation and have more fun with that. But no behemoths really go Aether Charge in Dauntless. Like, they kind of do, but like there's not many have the Aether Charge in the first place. And extra part damage, yeah, it's nice and all, but you don't really need help breaking parts. Like, I could maybe see using this amp to break more parts from Thrax, but by level 25, you should have a lot of parts from Thrax. If you're just focusing the head and arm and the tail consistently, you should be pretty good by level 25 in escalation. So, not my favorite amp in the world, and I'm pretty sure that's actually most of the amps we have right now. Actually, I think that's all the amps. Right? Yeah, hopefully. Oh, wait, I'm missing 2. So, Alchemist Bulwark, Alchemist Frenzy. Alchemist Bulwark is, if you use your flasks, you have a chance to get this amp, or you always get it, which I kind of don't like. But it refills your flasks, and it makes your healing flask give you Bulwark Tonic. And Alchemist Frenzy is the same thing, except for your Frenzy Tonic. So, I don't know, they exist. Not my favorite things in the entire world, but they do exist. But that should be wrapping it up. That should be all the amps that I can think of. Hopefully I didn't miss anything, and hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe to channel for content, and be sure to use Epic Games support card code OhDough in the Epic Games store and the in-game Dauntless store to support me. Every purchase you make, I get a small kickback, and it means a ton. It helps out immensely. And join or subscribe to me on Twitch, my Dauntless Flare. I haven't been streaming recently, but I will be streaming once this patch drops on June 11th. So definitely check that out. Be there or be square. And other than that, y'all, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.